יש מאין and גילוי ההלם. And it's good to have both. The גילוי ההלם gives us the sense of connection. The way you say, מצוירים, even in my darkest place, I'm still connected. I'm low down the chain, but if I climb up, I can get to the top. I'm not disconnected, no matter how low it went. But the Maila of Yesh Me'ayin is that down here at the top, I'm close to the beginning more than the higher links. Today is the 26th Vov Adar, and we are beginning with a question that Sterne presented that I thought that we should ask ourselves and try to answer it as a group, even though we are in the middle of discussions, really in the middle of, or the beginning or the middle of discussing Atzilus. But Sterne, if you don't mind, to repeat the question.
What is the experience in Atzilus, the level? Is it or Helem Gilui, which is a higher level?
Gilui Helem.
Or Yesh Me'ayin. So my question was, how is it relevant to us? What is the point of this discussion? How is it in Avodas Hashem? Why is it so important to understand it?
And Sterne, you said that you had an idea?
I thought that if we know that the experience, since we reach Atzilus, how far you reach it, but as you say, that's where you feel that there's more, where Moisif or will make a difference. So
Atzilus is the first revealed time, so to speak. There's no time there. Atzilus is when Hashem presents himself as an Adam. Presents himself, Or Ein Sof, in the image of man, 10 spheros. So it is Atzilus that is really the connection that we have with God himself, with the Elokus itself, with godliness itself, with Or Ein Sof and higher. So it's important, in that sense, it's important to know Atzilus, because Atzilus is the blueprint of our being. Atzilus is like the DNA of our being. This is how we are structured. Now, why it is important and that's why Atzilus is called Adam. Adam HaElyon, and we are Adam, Bnei Adam. Why is it important to learn about the different aspects of Atzilus in relation to Or Ein Sof, or to that which is higher than Atzilus? Because that is really, we are learning what is the relationship between godliness, the way it presented itself in the form of Adam, of 10 spheros, and godliness, the way it is in relation to itself. That helps us to understand. So if we are learning that, as the Rebbe is saying now, that to understand how Atzilus on one hand is Gilui HaHelem, and from another perspective and understanding, it's Yesh Me'ayin, we have to understand that there are two kinds of Hamshachos that come from Or Ein Sof, and Hamshacha, which is in a realm of Sovev Kol Almin, Makif, and Hamshacha in a manner of Memale Kol Almin, Pnimi. Why it is important for us to understand it? Because that helps us to understand our relationship with Elokus. That to understand, and the more we understand, the more we can internalize, and the more we internalize, hopefully, the more we can experience. The fact that our relationship with Elokus has, in this context, two dimensions. There is the aspect of Elokus that is revealable and therefore, potentially, we can actually directly experience it. And then there is an aspect of Elokus which is not revealable under normal circumstances because it's not compromised to our kelim. But it impacts us very much. And it has itself many levels. Some of them we can even kind of sense in a manner of makif, and most of it not at all. But knowing that is like a relationship with a teacher, which you know that in that shiur that you just had, there is the aspect that you understood. And then you felt that your teacher, if your teacher is a great teacher, that in the information and the teaching that he taught you, you feel that there is much more knowledge that he did not bring down to your language and your knowledge so far, or to your ability to perceive so far, but it's there and it has an impact on you. So that helps us to understand, to be aware that there are various dimensions to our relationship with Hashem. More conscious, or less conscious, or more conscious, or more super conscious. And the more we learn about it, the more we get to know them. And the more we get to know them, more we get to experience them, hopefully. All this is only providing that we have bitul. I don't know if it answered. It's one answer, I'm sure, out of many. Anyone wants to add?
But if we are aware that no matter how far we are, there's always a connection, then that's very important. And Binyamin, it's a little bit on the side, he was talking about two young girls from Israel about his connection with the Rebbe. They were talking, he was so frustrated. Rebbe, I'm not getting anything from you. Everybody's getting, and is getting, I'm working so hard. Eventually, he realized that he get messages that the Rebbe knew exactly what he's saying to him, even in his head. But these things, we don't perceive them on a regular way. We don't perceive that we have a GPS inside our head that connected us and direct us because we don't believe that it exists. He was saying how he went from 40 kids to now over 1,000 of kids and all the money he has to bring. And he said, if it wasn't that connection, there's no way he could have done it. Also, it also take us a lot of our anxiety and depression are really worked out with all this connection.
Hasidus is not just a sharing concept, but Hasidus is Elokus, is truth, Divrei Elokim Chaim. And therefore, when we learn it, we are bringing Elokus into our moyach, into our brains, into our awareness, into our consciousness. And that is an integral part of Dira B'Tachtonim. We are on page Reish Tes Vav. The line in the main paragraph, the line that starts V'ha'ara Shebivchinas Chitzonius. It's like, I don't know, a little bit below the middle of the paragraph. V'ha'ara Shebivchinas Chitzonius. And at the end of the line, after the full stop, it says V'amshacha habeis he.
And in the old edition?
Kuf Samech Beis. The paragraph that starts, Omnam yesh lomar, the gam legabe akav, and way into that, the line that starts, V'ha'ara shebivchinas chitzonius, at the end of the last four words is V'amshacha habeis hi shebivchinas gvul umida. The next line is gvul umida. So the Rebbe says that to understand how, from one perspective, Atzilus is Yesh Me'ayin, and from another perspective, Atzilus is Gilui HaHelem, we need to understand that there are two kinds of Amshachos from Or Ein Sof. that animate the worlds, that are affecting the worlds. One is Sovev Kol Almin, that is coming down in a manner of Makif, maintaining its infinity. This is Ha'ara from Ana Emloch, Malchus of Ein Sof, and remains Makif after the Tzimtzum as well, and remains untailored. That's one Amshacha. We'll get back to it. And vis-a-vis that Amshacha, here the Rebbe didn't say directly, but we can understand that in relation to this Amshacha of Sovev Kol Almin, Makif, after the Tzimtzum, Atzilus is Yesh Me'ayin. It's a new thing. Because in Atzilus there are already spheres, they're 10 and not 11, 10 and not 9, and they are Chokhmah and Bina and Chesed and Gvura. So Yesh Me'ayin, relative to that. And now we are learning about the second Amshacha. Amshacha of Memale Kol Almin, that obviously is connected to Or HaKav. And this is where we are. Ve'amshacha HaBeis, the second Amshacha from Or Ein Sof, Hi Shebivchinas Gvul U'Midah, is the Amshacha that comes in a manner of Gvul, boundaries and measure. V'hainu, B'chinas HaKav HaChut. That means the one line that is Nimshach Mi-Or Ein Sof, from the infinite light, after the Tzimtzum, Shehu Amshacha Shebivchinas Gvul U'Midah. This is the Amshacha from Or Ein Sof that manifests in a manner of Gvul U'Midah. That means with boundary, with limitation, with in a realm of finitude and measure. This is the Gilui Or of the Kav HaChut, the line, and the Chut. Chut means the ability to circle each time. But that's not for now. So this second type of Amshacha from Or Ein Sof shines and animates the worlds in a limited, in a way of Mugbal, in a finite way. And why is there a need to mamshich chayus in a manner which is finite, limited, and measured? Liyos bivchinas or pnimi ba'olamos. Being that this light, the light of the Kav, its nature is not an Or Sovev, rather its nature is Or Pnimi, an internal light, a light that is meant to be internalized and revealed. While Or Sovev, to begin with, is light that's not meant to be internalized and therefore not meant to be revealed, meaning that it's meant to have an effect in an unrevealed way. It's present and it's here, but not revealed. The Or HaMemale that we are discussing now is meant to be bivchinas Or Pnimi, internal, inner light in the world, שיתיישב בבחינת פנימיוס בכלים ד10 ספירות כולו. And the intention, so to speak, the purpose of the Kav, that it should be a light that will be invested in the vessels of the 10 ספירות, of Atzilus. שאי אפשר שיקבלו האור שבבחינת אין סוף, כי אם כאשר בא בבחינת מידה וגבול, שזהו בחינת הקו כולו. Because it's not possible that the kelim of the 10 spheres of Atzilus will be able to receive the infinite light unless it will manifest in a manner of midah and gvul, of measure and boundaries. And this is the principle of the Kav, The Kav is the revelation of Or Ein Sof in a measured way. So since the Kelim of the Spheros, and how much more so, all the creations that are after the Tzimtzum, so since they are measured and boundaried, they are not capable, they are not able to contain the Gilui Abilti Mugbal, the unbounded revelation that can be internalized. They can't. And therefore, there is a chayos that comes out which is measured and mugbal, boundaried, that is invested in the spheros. And through this, through the spheros, also in the Nivaim, in the created world, in a plimi way, in a way that can be internalized or revealed, according to their level and ability to absorb. That's Ora Memale. That's the Ora Kav. So the second Amshacha from Or Ein Sof is coming in the manner of Pnimi and is invested the Pnimius in the Spheros and in the Nivaim. Now, to understand it well, we are going a little bit into an important topic, which the Rebbe is not, this is not the only discussion here, but it is in the context of our discussion of Atzilus, in order to understand what is the relation between Atzilus and the Kav, and to understand exactly when are we saying that it's Yesh Me'ayin and when are we saying that it's Gilui HaHelem. So in order to understand it, the Hine Yadua, there is a ha'ara. There is a side note that the Rebbe is making here. The topic of the lights of Or HaKav and the lights of the Spheros versus the Kelim. You know, it's an interesting, you see correlation in learning, Hashgacha practice in learning, how we are discussing it also in Shara Yichud. About the lights, you know that the Spheros are made Oros and Kelim, as we are now discussing it in Shara Yichud, Oros and Kelim. The question regarding the Oros, that of course the Or come from Or HaKav. And the question is, are they Oros Metsuyarim or Oros Pshutim? The lights of the Spheros, are they Metsuyarim? Are they already associated with the form, which means, can you in a very subtle, in a very potential way, already see this type, the Sphira, in the light of the Sphira? Or it only receives its form, its siyur, when it is invested in the Keli? Meaning, and therefore the Or is Pashut. Is it a Pashut Or, like you take water, and water has no connection to colors, let's say, and you put it in a red glass, then if you look at the water from the side of the glass, the water will look red. So, that's the question. Is the water, there is only redness shayach to the water, or it only happens when the water sits in the glass? Is the Or in the Sphira completely pashut, completely plain, or it has already a potential tziyur, and therefore when it comes to the right keli, you can see the manifestation of this Sphira or that Sphira, if it's Chochmah or Chesed or Gvura. Yes, you have comments to make?
No, it's just an observation from yesterday. It would depend on the Kli also.
That's the question. Is it only depending on the Kli, or the Or is already shayachus to this Sphira?
So we learn, I think, in Kabbalah that each of the spheros has a tendency to a certain color.
So that's the prominent opinion that we follow, the opinion the Hasidus follows is that, according to the Arizal, is as you say, that there is a tziyur already in the oros. That the oros are oros מצוירים. There is a shaychus to the sphera in the or itself, not only the keli. It's not completely pashut. And therefore you can understand that if there is a tziyur in the or, then Atzilus is Gilui HaHelem or Yesh Me'ayin?
I would think Gilui HaHelem, because
Very
Yesh
good.
Me'ayin wouldn't have a color.
Exactly.
I say Gilui
And
HaHelem, yeah.
if the oros is pashut, is plain and pure and formless, then Atzilus is Yesh Me'ayin. Very good. So let's learn inside. Excellent. והנה ידוע שיש בייס דאוס בעניין האורס. There are two opinions regarding the lights. Basically, the tziyur is magbil the sphere. You know that it's like the power of seeing of the nefesh. Okay, the nefesh oros מצוירים, that there is a tziyur already in the light. That's like the kochos hanefesh. You have a power of the re'iyah, for instance, in the soul. This is an unlimited power of re'iyah that operates in all worlds. Could be spiritually seeing, could be when it comes to the eye, then the eye is magbil. The eye is parallel to the keli of the sphera of chokhmah, of re'iyah, of Atzilus. Then it magbil, it megashem, it concretizes the power, makes it more megusham, more coarse. Now you can see physical things, and magbil it, and you limit it. It's not in soft, because in the nefesh it's unlimited. So that's like the oros mesuyarim. That's like the oros that have a form in them. It has many implications. I want to move on, but it has many implications. So let's see what the Rebbe is saying. הנה ידוע שיש בייס דעות. There are two opinions in Kabbalah בעניין האורוס, regarding the lights. האחד, one opinion, please mute yourself, Turner, שהם פשוטים ממש, that the oros are ממש plain, thank you. ואין שייך בהם בחינת חוכמה וחסד כלל כולו. And in the oros, it's not relevant to attribute to them any sphera, no chokhmah, no chesed, no gvura. Nothing to do with it. So according to the first opinion, the oros are pashut, and they are not metsuyar. They have no form on any level, no form to them. And therefore, in these lights themselves, you cannot find any chokhmah, any chesed, any gvura, any netzach. And therefore, the amshacha of chokhmah and chesed and netzach, any sphere form that or happens only through HaKadosh Baruch Hu creating middles of chokhmah, of chesed, of gvura, of tiferet, that are mashpia to the world. This is like if you relate to, let's first say the explanation. You relate to the nefesh, not the nefesh itself also, if you can divide now the nefesh to two aspects. There is nefesh where the nefesh has koichos in it, and these koichos are unlimited. And therefore, only when the nefesh is now invested through the brain into the body, now every koyach will be more megusham, will be more physical and more and limited. You have though etzem nefesh. Etzem nefesh, if you will be able to look at etzem nefesh, you will not see any koyach there. Not even potential. You don't see any koyach there at all. It is completely beyond koyach. However, when etzem nefesh is invested, all the koyachos are operating in a much more invigorated and animated way because it's etzem nefesh. So it's no tziyur. It's not that it's very potent, very powerful, but there's no tziyur to it. So that's like the two kinds. In any case, let's just see what the Rebbe is presenting here. כמו שכתוב באביר דאוהל הסתמיד תקס"ט, a mimer of the Alter Rebbe that discusses it. ולפי זה, according to this first opinion, that the oros of the spheros are pshutim, are plain and formless, הקו הוא ההמשכה בבחינת בלי גבול בעצם. So therefore, what is the curve? The curve is really בעצם in essence המשכה בלי גבול, an unlimited המשכה, אלא שנמדד על פי מאמר קו המידה, כמה אור יומשך בבחינת חוכמה, היינו להבוס ולהחיוס את הכלים דחוכמה. So I'll translate and then explain. בעזרת השם. So curve itself is המשכה בלי גבול, unlimited המשכה, but there is קו המידה. There is a measuring line that determines כמה אור, how much light from this curve, יומשך בבחינת חוכמה, will be drawn in the aspect of חוכמה. Meaning, היינו, להבוס ולהחיוס את הכלים דחוכמה, which means that how much energy now will be invested from this unlimited curve to create and animate the kelim of חוכמה, a metzius of חוכמה. וכמה יומשך בבחינת בינה, and how much of this light will be drawn in the aspect of bina to create it and to operate through it. היינו, להבוס ולהחיוס כלי הבינה. That means to create and to animate the keli of bina. וחיי גבנה במידוס חולו. And the likes regarding the midos. וכמו שכתוב שם, as it's written there, ועל ידי זה נעשה ישחלקוס המדרגוס בספירוס במעלסן ומדרגתן. And it's only through this קו המידה that this is chalkus, this division of levels happens in the spheros in terms of their maila, which one is higher, which one is lower, and their level and their quality. So again, according to the shita, to the train of thought, that the oros are pshutim, that the lights are plain, it is understood that the light of the curve is also pashut and bilti mugbal, and unbounded. Nevertheless, it's called kav amidah, the measuring line. Why? Because unlike the first amshacha that we discussed, which is amshacha in a manner of soivev, kolalmin, makif, that is completely higher than emanating any spheros, any midos, the light of the curve did go down after the tzimtzum in order to create and to animate the midos, the spheros, and to give each midah its mahus and its measure. It's until there is this chalkus created, a division between one sphere and another. So according to this, the Ora Kav, according to this Shita, the Ora Kav, on one hand, it doesn't contradict Or Ein Sof, because it's still unlimited, but this Ora Kav creates and animates in a measured way the different spheres and the different midos. This is one. And as you are correctly pointing out, that according to this shita, the relation between Atzilus and Orakav would be yesh me'ayin, because Orakav is not מצויר, it creates, but it's not formed. Yesh me'ayin, it's ayin. let's not differentiate between Chokhmah, Bina, or Dat right now. According to this Shita, the spheros, including Chokhmah, are Yesh Me'ayin. Meaning, like this world. This world is Yesh Me'ayin. Why? Because it comes from Or HaSovev, that is not at all formulated, and therefore it's Ayin in terms of nothingness. And how are we? We are coming, we are created, Yesh Me'ayin. That's the power that the Kadosh Baruch Hu has, to create something out of nothing. Nothing, not nothing that is nothing. This is Lukus, the power of creation, of a creative power of God. But it has no thingness to it. So, according to this Shita, the spheros of Atzilus would be Yesh Me'ayin. Or HaKav is still infinite and formless, and it creates. It is not Yesh, but it creates. Metzius Davar Ma, as we called it yesterday. The spheros. This is one Shita, that the Kav is Pashut, and it creates. והבייס, שבהאורס עצמן יש גם כן 10 ספירות. The second Shita of thought that we follow mostly, the Rebbe Rashab further on will explain how you can resolve that Atzilus is both Yesh Me'ayin and Gilui HaHelem according to both Shitas. You know, because it's not that one is wrong, one is right. It's just a matter of how deep you go, you know, because relative to the spheros, really, Or HaKav, no matter what Shita, is plain. But if you dig in, so according to and you go more subtle, according to the second Shita, the Or HaKav is already, the Oros are already Mitsuyarim. It doesn't mean that they have spheros like in Atzilus, no, but they have Shaychus. So let's see. So the base, the second opinion is, שבהאורס עצמן יש גם כן 10 ספירות. That in the lights themselves there are also 10 ספירות. בחינס אור החוכמה ואור החסד חולו. There is not the keli, but it's the light of חוכמה and the light of חסד חולו. וכמו שכתב הפרדס בשער אסמוס וכלים, in the Pardes, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero wrote in the gate of Asmus and Kelim, דמה שכתוב בדיבור המסחיל יביאו לבוש מלכוס הוא על פי דעה זו, according to what it says יביאו לבוש מלכוס in Megillas Esther, the Alter Rebbe, is according to this opinion, וכמו שכתוב בדרוש הרב מנחם מרקנטי, according to Reb Menachem from Recanati in Italy. He is a Makubal and a Poisek that lived in the 13th century in Italy, in Recanati. So according to that opinion, that is expressed in the Pardes and the Reb Menachem of Recanati, how you say it in Italian, Recanati. But, so what's the difference between the Kelim, the Oros, so what does it mean? That there are 10 spheros in the Oros? אלא, only שה10 ספירות שבאור, הרי הם בבחינת פשיטוס ועין לגבי 10 ספירות שבכלים חולו. Only that the 10 spheros, the way they are in the light, is way more pashut and ayin, has no form yet, has no yeshus yet, let's put it this way. In comparison to the 10 spheros in the Kelim. The Kelim is much more concrete and has more, relatively, and has more metzius to it in comparison to the light, that even when the Oros are Metsuyarim, that they have some kind of a form of Chokhmah or Bina or Chesed or Gvura, yet in comparison to the Kelim, the lights are still Pashut, an Ayin kind. And this is partially the answer to your question, also in terms of Chokhmah. It's all relative. But לפי דעה זו, הקו הוא המשחת שבבחינת גבול ומידה. According to this second opinion, the kav is not hamshacha in a manner of infinity, the kav is already hamshacha in a manner of gvul and midah. We learned already many times that the Or Ein Sof, at least in relation to its ability to shine to worlds, has two powers, the power of bli gvul and the power of gvul. And they are both infinite powers. So according to the first opinion, the kav is still an expression of the koyach ha-bli gvul, of the power of infinity of Or Ein Sof. According to the second opinion, the kav, if I may say, the Rebbe is not saying it like this, if I may say, the kav is an expression of the ability of Or Ein Sof to be expressed in a gvul manner, in a limited manner, koach ha-gvul, the power of finitude. So according to the second opinion, oros מצוירים, so we have two terms here, oros pshutim and oros מצוירים. And that means that even though the oros, according to the second opinion, are already oros מצוירים, there are oros that already have a tziyur of that is shayach to this sphera, but mitzad atzmam, but of themselves, the koyach ha-chochma, or the power of bina, or the power of chesed, in the oros, even according to the second opinion, is still too much pshitus and ayin, has no concreteness to them enough to be able to be mashpia of a limited chayus. It's too nothing. Excuse me? I can't hear you. You're still muted. It's only, even those oros metzuyarim, it is only through these oros being invested in the kelim of the spheros that limit them and concretize them, that they can go down and now being a source of hashpah to the world, like the second level of the soul. The second, there is the essence of the soul, or the inner aspect of the soul that is higher than any koichos. Then is the soul, the aspect of the soul that has koichos, carries koichos in it. But they are unlimited. They are not physical. They are not concrete. They are unlimited. And you can see, even in the Olam Abriya, you can see with this power of seeing, or the hearing, or the movement. It is not limited. But when they are invested in the kelim of the organs of the body, then they will be concretized to be able to see this ways, the Riyah Gashmis, and it will go that far that you can see. It will magbil the tziyur, magbil the or. The or HaKav itself is also or metzuyar, that comes in a manner of midah and gvul, and it is different and in a way contrary or at the opposite of Or Ein Sof before the Tzimtzum. And this shita of the Pardes is explained at length in this Maimar in Torah Or, Yaviu Levush Malchus, which is a fundamental Maimar of explaining the inyan of Oros Metzuyarim, in the Biur there, in Yaviu Levush Malchus, in Megillas Esther. Now, of course, according to this, that are Oros Metzuyarim, then what would be Atzilus, Gilui HaHelem, or Yesh Me'ayin?
גילוי הלם, no?
גילוי ההלם. Very good.
Fine.
קיצור, according to the Shita that the Oros Pshutim, even Or HaKav is Pashut and not Mugbal, and according to the Shita that the Oros Metsuyarim, even Or HaKav already comes b'midah or in Gvul, as explained in Yaviu Lebush Malchus.
But cannot be one level without the other. That both levels are there. It's coming from Adus Apshute, Gmurim, like I used to say, Mamesh, and then it takes on a Siyur, the second level, because otherwise, where are the Kelim getting this Siyur of Chokhmah? Where does that come from? You say when the Or connects to the Kele, then you have the colors, then you have the Chokhmah. But where is the Kele guided this Siyur already?
Well,
the thickness of the light.
it's another topic. I can't go into it now, but there's two aspects to it. Number one is Mis Abu Sa'or Nasa Keli. The Keli, from one aspect, we need to understand that the Kelim, especially in the higher levels, they're not, but to understand B'chlal in principle, that the Keli is not, as we said yesterday, is not shipped from China. If there's Enod Milvado, and the Seni Flaos Levado, as we said last night, if Enod Milvado, so from where are the Kelim, and the Or is Ein Sof, the where are the Kelim. So it's in Kabbalah many times from its Abu Sa'or, when the Or is so thick that it is can relate to the aspect of Keli, it's also called Keli. That is limited, that it can be called Keli, it's also called Keli. Or if you want to understand it from another aspect, it's the same, it's not another truth, it's the other aspect of the same truth, that the Keli is really created from Or HaSoiver. Anyhow, this will be, the Rebbe will make his point. He's presenting now. There are so many angles from where you can answer your question, because you got very attached to the inyan of Ila and Alul and the Oros Mitsuyarim, and you have it, and therefore you feel connected all the way. But then you have another aspect, what creates Olam Hazeh Gashmi, your Guf. And the shaykhus of this Gashmius, which is Yesh Me'ayin, you don't feel the Ishtalshelus. The Gashmius cannot come with Ishtalshelus from Ruchnius. There is a jump. No matter how gradual you go and how low you go, you will not jump, you will not reach Gashmius physical from spiritual. So there has to be a Yesh Me'ayin as well, which actually associated with Atzmus of God himself. Sterner's favorite subject. And therefore, they both go together, really. It's not one or the other. There is room for both. And we need to integrate both consciousness, the Soivev and the Memale at the same time. Yesh Me'ayin and Gilui HaHelem. And it's good to have both, because the Gilui HaHelem gives us the sense of connection. The way you say, Mitsuyarim, even in my darkest place, I'm still connected. I'm low down the chain, but if I climb up, I can get to the top. I'm not disconnected, no matter how low it went. But the Maila of Yesh Me'ayin is that down here at the top, I'm close to the beginning more than the higher links. But that's another discussion.
Yes, it's beautifully. We are essentially connected.
Yes, from alle Seiten. Baruch Hashem. That Gilui HaHelem helps to realize the appreciation of the Keli itself. From where did you pop up? And why is interested in you? That the Keli is going straight to Asmus, skip Seder Ishtalshelus. He wants Dira B'Tachtonim Dafka in plurality, in a pikude, each individual, unique Keli that is not sharing with anybody else. Not to impose, yes. To make room for each other, then the beauty of the tapestry is the most wonderful beauty, yes.